Hi community. So today we will discuss more about roadmaps for DevOps engineer. So how can a QA engineer basically can become DevOps? So for that part we will be discussing today. So I have written few points over here which we may require to proceed with the DevOps, right? Let's first start with the cycle of DevOps. So there will be few stages in from dev to ops. So dev part, this part is basically the coding part, and this part is basically for the ops part when we take the things for the deployment sake, right? So that is the two part that combines and makes the DevOps, right? So in few parts are like first part will be like firstly planning and then there will be coding, right? So firstly we have to plan accordingly, and then suppose some sprint or some plan happens, and then we have to code as per the requirements, right? So next will be like build, and then the once the coding has been completed, then we have to build and then we have to test means like this may go for the testing release, right? So here QA may also used to work here only. So here only his role, QA roles used to come at this point, right? So suppose the QA has also tested, then it will proceed for the release part, right? So from here DevOps role comes, and then they take the release part for the deployment sake, right? So then they deploy it, and then they do some operations. So operations as an example, suppose he has deployed, now they have to increase some bandwidth. Suppose like they have to increase some disk size or some CPU, or they have to increase some servers or something. So whatever will be the requirement, so that will be considered under operations. And then there will be monitoring part. So once they have deployed it successfully and operated it, then they have to monitor the logs for that, so whether that is working properly or not. And monitor, like few tools are there like ELK or Nagios, that we will also discuss here as well. So these all part people used to do under monitoring, right? So now next will be what we need to learn actually. So there will be, so now we need to see what we need to learn. So there will be n number of tools in DevOps that we can learn n number of things, but there should be a way to learn, and there are alternatives for each things. Linux basic, we have to see few points I have mentioned here, like directory, then piping, then the file system, how to create and all, how to create directory, how to do the piping, grep and all, and then how to read and write, give the ownership by chmod commands and all, and then the VM editor, how to Vim, how to create maybe like YAML or any other kind of file inside the Vim, how to edit it, or even the text file as well. So whatever, and the usage of CPU and tailing and watching the logs and etc. backup of that. So these all things we have to consider under basic, which may on an average take 10 days, right? So next will be like servers. You may also conclude that into the Linux, but I have considered as in separate because it could be the big thing to learn as well. So here few points I have written that we have to work, maybe we have to learn these. So like message packets, IP config, then trace path, trace out of delay, netstat, then network stats, etc. Network issues, DNS management, and the issues lookups to domain name for the IP and host. These all things we have to check in the servers of the Linux. Then route, host name, IW config, where the wireless network configuration and all, how to do that. Then OSI layer. So whatever, whenever you are something googling or doing something, so those all things should be taken care under the OSI layer and all. And then the network layer, how network layer works as per the OSI, or the in the server how network layer works. So these all things we have to see. So this will also on an average, this will also take nearby 15 days. Okay, so next will be a scripting part. So scripting, we have to understand, we have to learn at least one interpreter scripting. It could be shell or the Python as well, which I am also considering Python sometime. So I am also like, I have some prior experience with Python, so I try with Python as well. And shell also I'm still learning shell as well. So yeah, so few things are there: shell and types of shell, prompt of shell, how to do from the CLI, how to script, how to use the variables in shell, and then how to use all these, suppose these all commands inside the Linux shell script, and how can we keep it, and then the loops of the shell, IO redirection functions, how to use it, and some advanced topics like logging, regular system expressions and all, performance, how to do that. So these all things we have to check, and complex shell script as well, like how to write the complex shell script and how to deploy. So these all things as well. then how to use the shell in the DevOps, maybe like with the Jenkins or maybe anything. So these all things also we have to check. And yeah, so last will be mostly like build tool. So build tool, like we are already considering here Maven, right? So it could be Maven or Gradle is also one known build tool, so that also you can consider, or whichever project you may work, that you have to consider. But on an as an like example, we are taking Maven. Project creation of the Maven, how to build that project and how to package it, how to validate it, compile it, and how to do the integration or any kind of testing with that, maybe like unit testing or any kind of testing that we have to think. Then the installation of the container, how to install the Maven and how to host those artifacts and all once the build happens. So these all things we have to check. Then the verify and deploy those, and the documentation clean inside. So these are like few important topics that we have to check inside the build tool, right? So next will be Git. So Git is also one important, like how to push the code and how code works, how to commit the code. So these all things we have to check inside it, how to do the origin commit and push and pull, how to review, how to collaborate with other members, and how to revise, how to revoke any changes, how to branch, how to stash our changes and keep it, and whenever needed we can use it, and how to merge the conflict. So these all are also important part in the Git as well. Next will be Docker. Docker, you already know, it is a containerization platform, so that we have to use it. In terms of Docker, we are taking example for container. The installation of the Docker architecture, then how an images work, how container works, how hub interacts, how repository works, how configuration we have to do for the Docker, then the Docker file, how to create Docker file, how to create the how to expose the port, how to mount the volume, how to check the logs and all, how to use with CI/CD, how to use on cloud and Docker Compose, etc. So these all things we have to check with the Docker as well. How to use cloud, how to use Dockers on cloud, which is also very important. So whenever we are going to use the Docker, at that time we have to see this. So next will be orchestration part. Docker Compose also we can use instead of Kubernetes as well. So both are orchestration. Sorry, yeah, Docker Swarm we have to use. Sorry, Docker Swarm we have to use with orchestration. Docker Compose is something we create YAML for the multiple container deployments. Okay. So what is then Kubernetes? What is Kubernetes? How to install? How the architecture of the images and setup, cluster, node, pod services, replica set services. So we have to check the orchestration as well. In that we are taking an example of Kubernetes. So how to install the Kubernetes, how to do the architecture of the Kubernetes. Sorry, what is the architecture of Kubernetes? How there will be like some master node and then there will be some worker nodes and all. So these all we have to check. Then how the image and setup. So how to how images works and how we can use the containers as well, and how to create the cluster, how to create the node, how to create the pods. In pods we used to have a container that we used to run inside the pod. So these are things we have to see. We have to see how to create services, then how to create the replica sets. What replica set does, it used to have a, suppose there will be 3 number of instances, so it will always make sure 3 instances will be always up. So like that there will be, these all concepts will be all be persistent volume. So how to recover your data, and also that will be under persistent volume. Then how to deploy, and how to create the secrets, and for anything like maybe services or for anything, how to expose for the port, what is API and how to use it, how auto scaling work, how to increase like anything if needed as per the requirement, and how to monitor and all for the cluster, how to monitor our cluster, like how it is performing, whether any gaps are coming, any issues are coming. So those all things we have to check inside the monitoring as well. So that will be under orchestration. So next will be Jenkins. So what is Jenkins? How to set up Jenkins? How to host the Jenkins on the cloud, and how to manage the configuration, and how to use a multiple plugin of like Git or like email or like any like Maven or anything. So these all plugins we have to check like whatever needed, and Git, and how to build it with the Git, how to do the SCM polling and all, and how to report it, how to send the notification of mail or something, maybe like SMTP server, just use the email trigger or anything, and how auto deployment work, how to analysis the code, maybe usage of some sonar cube or anything. So maybe with that, then how to test it automated way, and how to create the pipeline for the multiple stages if you have. So those all creation how happens, and how to create the nodes and slaves of the Jenkins and backups and etc thing. And here is also like few things we have to, how to provide the access to anyone for the Jenkins and these all things. So yeah, so these are also four very important topics for the DevOps as well. So I think it will take 10 days, and Docker will take 30 days, and orchestration is very big, and I guess it will take nearby 45 days, and that too it's not for the administration purpose. Administration will take you more time, I guess, but this is for at least the moderate level of knowledge. We need this much time, and the Jenkins will take 10 days, I guess, because in Jenkins plugins are most important, that we have to use it and how to use it. So that I guess very much important. So that will take 10 days. In cloud, so here we take AWS example. Okay, so it could be any cloud, but we are just taking one tool for each category. Okay, so what is cloud, how easy management work, how to create the Linux machines, how to create Windows machines, Mac machines, all those things, how to create the auto scaling group, how to create the security group, how it secure our environment, how to mount the volume, how to create the volume, how to like how to save it, and how to use it for the maybe like next EC2 machine or something we are upping up. So those all things under volume. And what is EBS storage, like how to use it, what is virtual private cloud, how to route 53, how to create the DNS inside it and mount the IPs along with the route that we have to create. So those all things are S3 buckets, how to host, and how to save our particular data inside the S3 buckets, and how to use the API gateway to create any APIs, storage gateway to create any storage and provide the gateways, how to open the firewall for the networks, and network load balancers. Sorry, not network load balancer, this is like the firewall. Load balancer will have this category, which will have ELB, NLB and all, which will have like a ELB category, network load balancer, elastic load balancer. Those all will come under load balancer, which will balance the load, and the different type of services as per your need, like EKS, ECR, ECS, ELK if needed. So those all services, like how to learn and host in the cloud, and how to use it. So these all, I guess this will also take, I guess, 45 days as per my understanding. Right, so next will be any configuration tool. We are taking here example of Ansible. Okay, so what is Ansible, set up it locally, then how to create the YAMLs of Ansible and basics of that, what is variables in Ansible, how to use them, what is roles, how to provide the particular role, how to use the host of that, how to create the playbooks for the deployment, how deployment works, what is Ansible Tower and what is Ansible Galaxy. So these all are important, and there are like a lot of alternative as well for Ansible, like Chef and Helm. I guess Helm also you can use it whenever you need, but I guess Ansible will be enough, and it is also big, so I guess it will also take 30 days for end to end. And there will be monitoring tool. We are taking here example of Nagios, but we like ELK is also very famous one, where we will have Logstash and Kibana. So whatever you want to use, you can use it. Nagios is a little bit different, ELK is different. So we are taking example here of Nagios, setup, installation, configuration, host and services, states of that, how to use the commands, ports and protocols of the particular service, maybe like that you are using and hosting it. Plugins, like there will be different type of plugins for Nagios, then how to install and use them, so that will be important. And then the monitoring of data analysis, whatever will be the data you will be getting once you host that, and easily you are able to rectify it. So how to monitor the data and provide the report, so that is also important. So I guess, yeah, so these will be like how many tools are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So I guess there will be 11 tool, right? Or I have missed something. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. what did I miss? Docker Kubernetes get Maven shell. Okay, servers are included here, so no problem with that. Servers are here only. Okay, so this will be basically 10 tool that we have to use it. So I guess if we proceed with daily 2 to 3 hours, then I guess in like as per the calculation, it will take 235 days, and in 7 to 8 months, we will have at least a like more moderate level of knowledge. We can have it, so we can easily deploy it, and as per the interview as well, you will be able to give the answers. So that's what I guess DevOps looks like. And yeah, it is very much, and it's like a, how to say, it's like a ocean. You have to just consider one tool that you can learn first, and once you are maybe like more than moderate and you are nearby like you have expertise in that, then maybe you can consider the another tool. So but yeah, so yeah, I guess this will take nearby 7 to 8 months to complete the DevOps, to becoming a complete DevOps engineer. Else you can easily go and learn the cloud. Then someday you have something to work on Ansible, then you go and learn Ansible. Then someday you have something about the Bash, then you can go and learn the Bash. So that is different. But overall, if we have to go with end to end, I guess it will take 8 months, and it should take at least 8 months. Maybe like if we can leverage something, it may go 6, but I don't think less than 6 it may take. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you so much. uh, yeah, thank you.